Hello, this is Lee Anthony Davis making a video for YouTube. My usual video announcements. I'm sorry about the time. I know it's running late. I've been very busy. I'll explain to you in just a little while why I've come on late. But moving on quickly, this is where I announce. Well, it's Thursday, the 31st of August, obviously. So I forgot to add that in. Right. So today it's group of the day, obviously. Contributor of the day. And birthday announcements I'll be throwing in, and also I'll be showing you some more Doctor Who merchandise. Two more miniature Daleks. They're to come. I showed you two yesterday, so if you watch the video, you know what these kind of these are miniature Daleks, but these are in their boxes. I haven't took them out. Anyway, I'll show you. I'll tell you more about that. I'll give you a bit of news as well at the end of it. The reason why I'm late making this video, because I usually do it just after midnight, but unfortunately it's running late, is because I've been on the page and the group, which I'll tell you about in part of the news. So that's the reason why I've been welcoming new people and adding new material into my new groups and pages. Well, page and group, right? I'd like to thank the new subscriber that's following me, just joined today. Thank you very much, whoever you are. I'm not going to give you the number. I'm just grateful for people to follow me. All right, thank you very much. Anyway, I'm going to move on now quickly. Right, group of the day for Wednesday, the 30th of August, goes to one of my favourite series from the 70s. Sadly, it never got further than didn't do more than two series. I think they'd run out of ideas, but it was a very good idea when they brought it out. I think it had two films before it turned it into a series. Yes, it was starring Darren McGavin. Remember him, Darren McGavin? He had a pork pie hat. He was a reporter, and he went to sort of impersonated a policeman and everything just to get the story. And the stories that he was going for wasn't the political headlines or anything. It was more darker things like vampires and stuff like that. So it was bloody good. I loved it. I bought the series. It's I must admit there are some suspect monsters there that wouldn't frighten a baby. But like I said, it's a good thing. And I'm making that group of the day, and that group is called the Official Kojak the Night Stalker group. So you've probably heard of it. That is the one that's on Facebook, and that is my choice for today, or shall I say for Wednesday, the 30th of August. That is group of the day, the Official Kojak the Night Stalker group. Right, moving on. Contributor of the day goes to, for Wednesday, the 30th of August, Darren Longdon. Congratulations to you. Right, I'll have some more tomorrow, group and contributor, when I make this video. Right, I'm moving on to birthdays now, right? There's quite a few people here, so keep your ears pinned back. It might be one of you. Here we go. Celebrating their birthdays today are Dave Montgomery, Daryl Ballinger, Jean-Marc Jauas, Debbie Ward, John Chatfield, Joanne Reeve, Forced Doctor, Stephanie A. Smith, Morris Steen. Well done to all of you. You're celebrating your birthdays. Well done. So if you know them, wish them well on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. But they're celebrating their birthdays. Right, moving on. A little bit of news. I'll go with the Daleks. I'll go with the news first. The news is that I've got a group out now. It's out and running. My number at the moment, I've got 16 members have joined. So I sort of let in a few of them without inviting them. And I thought, well, as people want to join it, I thought I might as well open it and say, right, the group is up and running. I haven't completed it, but I suppose that's the way things go, you know. You can't plan for these things. If people want to join it, then I'll let them join it, you know, as long as they're there for the right reasons. And they all are, funny enough, so I've got no problem. The only problem is I've got to do every announcement for every member that joins. And there's also post approval pending and stuff like that. I've got to do that, and then I've got to go to the page. My page, Lee Anthony Davis, the Doctor Who page, has now reached double figures. It's now at 14 followers, 13 likes. So I'll keep you updated on that. On the group, I've got 16 members already. I only opened it properly yesterday, but I wasn't meant to open it till next week. But it doesn't matter. It's there and running. You can't plan for these things, as I said. Right, now moving on, I think there's a bit of news. Like I said, I'd only tell you anything about Doctor Who, the current series, if I have anything to give you. I don't have anything to give you because I don't know anything, and I'm being honest about that. If I did, I would be like the rest of them, trying to sort of surmise and trying to make it, trying to get ahead and everything. I'm not doing that, right? So if I've got something to tell you, it will be fact. It won't be phony. So I've got no facts to tell you, and I've got no basis of any truth to say something where I can't back it up. I'm not going to do that. I could go on Google, I could go on Facebook, I could go and check out what everybody else is saying, but there's no facts behind it, all right? The only thing you do know is that Walt Disney are making Doctor Who. I hope they don't put Mickey Mouse in and Donald Duck as arch villains. That would be ridiculous. But what we've seen of the 1980s Doctor Who with the rubber sets and wobbly set, should I say, and rubber monsters, I suppose it wouldn't be far-fetched. But anyway, Walt Disney will be making it. I think JNT will be working for Walt Disney. I don't know where the BBC fit in here, but I tell you what, I won't be bothering to go through the streaming and rubbish to watch Doctor Who. I'll wait until it comes out on DVD, because then you can enjoy it, if it's worth enjoying, on DVD. That is my philosophy. Always buy the DVD, so there's uninterrupted coverage of watching it. But anyway, I'll let you know when that DVD comes out, which won't be for quite some time, as it's not been broadcast yet. Anyway, any news I will tell you on here, I promise. Right, okay then. Right, now moving on to my Doctor Who merchandise. This is where I show you my collection. And yesterday I showed you 2 Daleks, and now I'm going to show you 2 more. Here is, this one is called Supreme Dalek. You remember this one from Sylvester McCoy adventure, Remembrance of the Daleks. There you go. I've left it in the box because I don't want to open it, but you can see it. This one was in the 1989. I think it's 88 or 89. I'm not too sure. 88. It's in 1988. I think it's to commemorate the 25th anniversary, wasn't it? Because it was 1963 to 1988, and I think the Silver Nemesis was the one they went with. But I think this was the actual adventure that should have been the anniversary, shall I say, for Doctor Who. But it doesn't matter. So anyway, that is the Remembrance of the Dalek. That's the Supreme Dalek. Remember that? I think he was a renegade Dalek, or Davros. I remember Davros in this round sort of ball, whatever it was. It opened up and it revealed Davros with just his head and wires all over the place. And I think it was about one Dalek race hating another. Race impurity or race purity or something like that. It was their way to sort of bring it across to the audience of hate and where it leads to. You know, I don't think moral messages were worth putting on Doctor Who at that time. Anyway, never mind. There it is. That's one of the Daleks. Put that there, and I'll get this one. This one is let's see. This is one you're familiar with, Victory of the Daleks. This is my, what I would call a laughable Dalek, because this is a multicoloured Dalek that Stephen Moffat, the then showrunner, thought at the time was a good idea. In my opinion, no it wasn't. Remember Colin Baker wearing that silly coat? That ruined his stature as the Doctor, because nobody could take him seriously. And it's very hard for him to win the audience over when JNT, his sort of the showrunner at the time, wanted something absolutely with bad taste. Not only was that, and in my opinion, as Peter Davison remarked, he says it was probably JNT trying to stamp his personality into the Doctor, you know, because obviously JNT was no good at reading scripts, he was no good at writing them, and he didn't understand them. He was only interested in PR, and PR means arbitration between one faction to another. And to be honest with you, some of the ideas he brought in might have worked, but there was a lot that didn't, and that is where the problems. And he also started to bring in these strange characters in, didn't he, you know, that you never heard of, that had no credence to the show itself. There was a guy who's continuity. I'm not going to mention names, but you know those people are, and they had no reason to be there. They were just fans. But JNT loved those sort of people around him. But nevertheless, I am not bothered. The show was done and dusted by then, and it didn't matter what they did. They could not save it. And poor old Colin Baker took the flak. And JNT, as I suspected, hanged him out to dry, because at the end of the day, he answered to the head of BBC Drama, Jonathan Powell, because remember Michael Grade had moved on, and so Jonathan Powell deliberately tried to derail the programme. He wanted his own back on what JNT, remember that hiatus moment when they all ganged up together to stop the BBC from taking off the air? JNT was behind that, all the rumbers. He also brought out that bad song with his then living partner, Gary whatever, I forgot his name, doesn't matter, you'll probably correct me on that. And they had Colin Baker paraded on there with Nicola Bryant. It was terrible. Nicola couldn't sing, obviously. I think they did it in a Band-Aid sort of thing, Save the Doctor. It was embarrassing, wasn't it? This was JNT for you. He was renowned for doing these robust things to the show, and he brought in people that really don't need to be there. And he also spent money on the Trial of a Time Lord, didn't he? The opening shot, the model shot, that cost a fortune. Wouldn't it have been better to have spent money on Colin Baker's character and the actual plot itself and the series and the technical abilities that goes with it, and employ decent writers? There was loads of writers out there. They just didn't fit in with JNT's way of thinking, So that's why it suffered. JNT went down with a sinking ship, and it was deliberate, because they put it on against Coronation Street in the late 80s, knowing that it would fail in the ratings, and knowing that JNT had nowhere to go. He had to get, because he was promised to be a director in the BBC's new plans, but it never happened. You know why? Because they wanted him gone. And nobody else wanted to take the Golden Albatross. They didn't want to know about Doctor Who, because they didn't want to put their reputations on the line. So JNT was lumbered. He wanted to get out, didn't he? But he couldn't, because he paid the price for going up against the BBC and putting them on the spot, making them embarrassed. He was into politics and all that, so he put a lot. But at the end of the day, it was only a postponement of the inevitable, wasn't it? The show suffered badly for it. Luckily, there were, like I said, there were very good writers out there. Russell T Davies was there somewhere along the lines there. So was Douglas Adams. Remember him? He was a showrunner back in not showrunner, script editor, sorry. And he wrote such good stories like The City of Death. You remember that? He did also, I don't know if he did The Pirate Planet, that was probably his. But you notice the ones he did had loads of humour in. And it was these stories were voted one of the best in, because they had some good villains in it as well. But anyway, I'm going to get away from that. That's history now. We're at the crossroads with the new adventures, where it's going and where it's not going. Right, so like I said, that is, I'd say Stephen Moffat was the equivalent to JNT. That's why the show was losing ratings all the time, because he was putting his personality in the show. No offence, he was a good writer, but he needed to be in check, didn't he? He couldn't do the show. He was doing too many things. So you needed someone, you needed a Philip Hinchcliffe type of character to take the show on, but there wasn't one. So anyway, never mind. That was the era of Matt Smith, the red, the yellow, the blue, but I thought I'd bring out the white because it's a little bit sort of more pleasing to the eye than a red Dalek and a blue Dalek and a green one. I don't think I've got those colours, but this one was one of them. It never took off, as I said, and that was the end of that. So anyway, that is it for tonight. Sorry for being late. I'll try and definitely make it just after midnight later on on this day, because obviously tomorrow it is confusing, but I'll be back just after midnight with another of these videos. And also I've got a Sarah Jane video to bung up here on this channel as well in probably roughly about 10 to 20 minutes. Right, that's it from me today. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.